Host to one of the most exciting races of 2023, the Integrity Octane Series has returned to the Rockingham Speedway for 150 laps in North Carolina. Heading back to a 1-mile circuit for the first time this year, it's going to be over 30 drivers registered to take on the Rock as we're once again back on Tuesday nights with the remainder of the Integrity Octane Series season on the way. Championship battle beginning to brew, drivers developing themselves as full-time contenders, and with qualifying on the move right now, we'll figure out who has the advantage when we take the green flag in just a few minutes time. Welcome back live on FTN. It's an FTN doubleheader tonight. 2 races are going to be broadcasted on the channel at once. The Highline Racing League beginning at 9:30, and we are set to get the green flag in just about 10 minutes. I'll be your host for all of tonight's action. I'm David Kreutz, commentating and producing, and we hope you enjoy the rest of tonight's presentation. We are only just getting started. With qualifying on the move right now, pole sitter is provisionally going to be Nick Tarbuck over Michael Laria in second, and then going to be Neil Froelich in third. Green flag flying on the qualifying session with less than 3 minutes remaining, and drivers still taking times. Matthew Thunhorse right now going to be 5th. It looks like Jacob Fife moves up to the 3rd spot as he comes down the back straightaway. Every driver getting 2 laps to put 1 time down. Braxton Deweese going to come across the line this time by. He is 9th as it stands, moves up on that lap, and that's going to take him up into 6th, just ahead of Sam Nito in the number 2. It's going to be Tom Wetmore 11th, then going to be Cody Griffin in 12th, and Cody Smith is now 13th. Jean Cars goes to the 15th spot. Brian McFerrin right now going to jump to 12th, getting right in between Tom Wetmore and Cody Griffin. His fastest lap, a 24.453. Quickest on the charts right now is still going to be Nick Tarbuck, and Tom Wetmore goes up into 3rd. He's going to be 84 thousandths of a second behind the pole, 24.267. Good for 3rd, at least for the time being. Look further back, and Chuck Sweeting in the number 75 is in 22nd. It looks like as of now, 22 drivers have taken times going back to the 75 here in Sweeting, and Kyle Cooper on the track right now looking for his first time lap is in the rock paint scheme tonight. Let's take a look at that number 73 as we look from the hood camera. You're going to see there coming across the stripe, Cooper is going to put his first lap in at 24.876. Good for 18th on his first run. He'll still have one more opportunity to improve that time as he heads down the back straightaway this time by. Notably, Ethan Lane, Justin Trombley, and Ryan Farrell all attempted to take laps. Did not work out for the 3 of them, and they will be starting from the back of the grid as Kyle Cooper makes it up into 13th in the number 73. Usually an all-white number 73, this time going to be blacked out with a few decals across the side, and you're going to see John Steele moving up to 22nd. His 22 going to come across the line. His qualifying run is over. He's still going to be taking some extra practice laps. Few more drivers opting to go for the same strategy on the track as well. You'll see Matt Jonas in number 15 who's on pit road, and now going down to the bottom of the circuit, more drivers ready to move on to your second practice session. 5 more minutes of preparation, and then we'll get going for 150 laps in your main event. Looks like Steele gonna wiggle right up to the top of the track. He'll save it, and no major damage, but with that being said, qualifying has concluded. Starting grid for tonight's event in Rockingham has been set, and we're moving on to 5 final minutes of preparation. Second practice starting, qualifying is determined, and we're going to find out who starts where tonight in the Rockingham 150. So let's get to know your grid from top to bottom. Now it's going to be at the top of the board, Nick Tarbuck, who's already collected victories this season, most recently getting it done in Atlanta. 24.183 for Nick is going to put him on the pole position. Michael Laria last week, oh so close to getting the victory. He'll be starting second tonight with a 24.234, second quickest on on the board, with Tom Wetmore then third, 24.267. 2 thousandths of a second behind Wetmore, it'll be Jacob Fife in the 36th, and Don Stevenson rounds out the top 5 with Matthew Thunor 6th, Chuck Sweeting in 7th, and Braxton Deweese 8th. Sam Nito then going to be in 9th, and Neil Froelich position number 10. 11th place is going to be Colin Gibman, and Nicholas Ward will be 12th, and it'll be Kyle Cooper 13th. 24.490. He's just a half-tenth ahead of Brian McFerrin, who start the night in 14th. Cody Griffin is then 15th, with Cody Smith in the 16th spot, and Eric McFarland 17th, with John Cars 18th on the grid. 24.901 will put Alan Rawell in 20th, just ahead rather, now in 19th of Sean Kalist. Kalist goes back to 20th with a 25.054, and 21st will then be Matt Jonas in the 15. John Steele will be scored 22nd, and Jared Callan takes the final time to lap, 23. That's the spot on the board, 25.237. That's the time of the lap. Justin Tromley's going to be 24th, with Ethan Lane, who won last week in Atlanta, starting 25th. It'll be Trevor Trago then in 26th, and Brad Patton in 7th. And from there, Jay Haishman going to be 28th. Ryan Farrell is going to be in 29th, and Stephen Wetton will round out the top 30 with 3 additional entries in Randy Fiash, Jim Fife in 32nd, and Brian Perry making up your 33 driver field. Now, with 2 minutes and 30 seconds left on the board for these drivers, give or take, a few final adjustments perhaps going to be made. The conditions tonight are much different from those of last night if you were with us in the Ignite Series, where it was largely a foggy sky until the final 50 laps, where things really took off and we saw some fantastic racing till the very end. Tonight, there's not going to be any fog forecasted for the entirety of this race, and we're expecting to see some more weather-related races as the weeks go by in the Ignite Series. Tonight, relatively clear, all things considered, and definitely more so than it was last week. I think the drivers who are doing the double, thankful of that. When it comes to weather, the overall conditions are still going to be very, very mild. It's going to be, as it stands, a track temperature of 121 degrees Fahrenheit, which is warm. Air temperature, though, only of 81 degrees Fahrenheit, and overall, forecast-based weather going to have the sun at 2 speed. So for every hour of racing we get, the sun will move the equivalent to a real-life movement of 2 hours. So expect some changes in the climate, largely going to be potentially cooler temperatures as the race progresses, especially toward its end, and perhaps we're going to see those track temperatures drop under 100 Fahrenheit when all is said and done. Brad Patton now going to be the fastest driver in the session. He's going to be 1 minute and 20 seconds away from finishing the session on top. He's 2/10 up on the second place rival here in terms of this warm-up session in Sam Nito. Kyle Cooper will then be third, and Nicholas Ward right now, the number 97, is in fourth, racing with Matthew Thunor as the two drivers come down Thunder Alley. It's going to be Thunor scored in fifth, just behind Nicholas Ward in fourth right now. These drivers getting those final laps in and starting to understand what it's like to be in front or behind a driver who's about the same speed as you here. It's going to be, of course, 30-plus drivers once again this week, so by no means is it going to be a small field. Quite the opposite, in all honesty. So for drivers, got to figure it out. How are you going to make passes on a relatively short circuit and a relatively quick circuit? 1 mile in length, akin to that of potentially we're going to compare to Dover or Phoenix in terms of length, but it is quick. 24-second laps are going to be the norm, especially in the opening laps, given the tire wear. And even then, the tire fall-off is going to have us with laps quicker than Phoenix, although Phoenix is relatively the same distance. This is a very fast circuit with speeds of about 160 miles an hour we get up to through the straightaways, and you carry a lot of speed, given the banking in the corner, which helps out these drivers substantially and putting the power down as our session has concluded. Brad Patton, the fastest driver on the board, 5 seconds remaining. Warm-up has concluded. Now it's time to move on to your main event. Practice over, 150 laps await us here in the virtual Rockingham Speedway, and we're excited as ever to bring this track back after what was a fantastic event last year. It all came down to strategy in the next-gen stock cars, which didn't handle all too nicely at this track. However, they definitely put on a great show. Ethan Lane ended up winning that race in dominant fashion. However, his strategy call put him one lap down as the race progressed, and he was able to make his way back up onto the lead lap and on to the lead of the race without any further cautions. So I'll tell you this much, strategy going to be a substantial part of the equation tonight, and I expect drivers who master the strategy early to really have that advantage in regards to looking for the win, as it is the case for most any race in the Integrity Octane Series. However, I think it's even more so tonight given the circumstances. You want to be the driver at the front from the very beginning. However, it's all about whether or not you can make that tire strategy work. I'm expecting one or two stop strategy is going to be the move no matter what. And as drivers get on the way this time by, you're going to see at the front of the field, it's going to be, of course, on top, Nick Tarbuck at number 4. And he'll be the man that leads this field to the green flag this time by. Field settled in 2x2 formation. Michael Laria getting closer and closer to his first career victory. He's been surrounded by veterans ever since Daytona, and he's been one of the drivers who's thrived under that pressure. Few rookies up inside the top 10. Neil Froelich is going to be starting in 10th. Braxton Deweese is an Octane Series rookie who's going to be starting in 8th. And Michael Froelich, of course, is going to be there in the 10th spot. He's going to be in the 5th row. The first row has the rookie in Laria. Nick Tarbuck so far, who's been the leading man of the points battle, he's got it up in front and has the advantage as we head in to turn 4. Coming through this time by the iRacing official pace car, going to exit and let Tarbuck get to the green flag, taking control of the field. The number 4 is Barney the Flagman will wave the green, and we're underway from Rockingham. At the line, Michael Laria going to lead that first lap, making way, and now has a 0.3 of a second advantage in the early going. Going to get the jump and take the race lead. Then from there, you'll see Tom Wetmore in 3rd, and already a big bundle of drivers forming around 15th, and the top 5 going to be contentious as well. Up to the top side, Jacob Fife will go there on Chuck Sweeting. Sweeting going to take it there to the low side to defend on Deweese, and at the stripe again, side by side, it's going to become a bit more common here as drivers settle in. Don Stevenson goes way top here, and Jacob Fife going to be right there with them. So side by side, we're going to see a slew of drivers getting things going quite quickly here. And I think from there on out, we got 33 drivers who took the green, going back to Trevor Trago. Everyone got away, but there's trouble immediately. It's going to be John Cars, and the yellow flag is out. Caution out for what looks to be a single car incident here. John Cars catches our attention down Thunder Alley, and as such, we will bring the field under yellow for the first time tonight. Here's an instant replay of what just happened. You'll see him there. The number 54, Ethan Lane, makes a bit of contact and sends the 82 down. And both drivers looking for the exact same racing real estate. And it's going to be John Cars, the man who suffers as a result. Yellow flag is out, 4 laps in out of 150. And a quick start brings us to an even quicker caution. Yellow flag is out for the first time tonight. Michael Laria now has control of the field. It's going to be Nick Tarbuck then in 2nd, and 3rd, Tom Wetmore. Matthew Thunderst, position number 4. Jacob Fife is going to be 5th with Don Stevenson in 6th, and Chuck Sweeting is 7th now. And comes to big movers, let's discuss who's made those moves early. As it stands, when it comes to the top 10, your biggest mover to this point is the driver who's running in 9th, and Nicholas Ward. He got from 12th up to 9th on that initial start, and while it isn't a big move overall, relatively speaking, it's a jump that's going to get him inside of the top 10, and it's a big deal with the caution coming out so soon. Other movers, we're going to see 16th to 14th in Cody Smith. The biggest, I think, of the night so far is Brad Patton from 20th 7th up to 19th, and nobody gonna best him in that regard. 30th to 26th, Stephen Wetton, and like further back, 25th to 20th, you'll see Ethan Lane. He's gotten the jump as well, and has moved through the field to get inside the top 20. However, was involved in that first caution, might put a little bit of a damper on that statistic, at least for the time being. Trevor Trago is going to be running last at the line here as he'll come down to pit road, expecting to see some service here for a few other drivers. John Cars does stay on the track despite the contact. Looks like he's confident he can keep going. Ryan Farrell going to drop down and in this time by. Same goes for Randy Fiash in the 55, and Jay Aishman went down to pit road 1 lap ago, so he'll get with the pack again. We're set to go green for lap 7 this time by. Gonna be your first restart of the day. Similar to last night in Nashville, we had that lap 1 caution. This is lap 2 caution, very early in the race nonetheless, so maybe gonna be a sign that we get back to long green flag racing as we did last night. Doesn't mean it's going to start perfect, but there's still a chance to end with great racing through and throughout. Yellow flag going to be flying for the first time tonight. Michael Aria and Nick Tarbuck up ahead after contact with John Cars and Ethan Lane brings us back under pacing. Coming through this time by, it's going to be the 44 of Michael Laria with Nick Tarbuck here. They're going to take the green again. This time, Laria going to be in control. Green flag's out, and we're back on our way. Laria going to get that big jump this time through, exactly what he needed, and as such, he's going to take the race lead once again. He's gotten both jumps so far, the initial start and our first restart, and the advantage is his as they're already 2x2 battles once again going at each other here. It's going to be Jacob Fife to the bottom, Don Stevenson right up top, Braxton Weiss and Nicholas Ward going to be with each other as well. 2x2 goes back to Colin Gibman and Cody Griffin, and it's going to be a lot of drivers getting themselves set up for some longer battles here. You can see there from Gibman, you don't want to wiggle because it's going to send you back big time. Real estate at this track is critical all night long. Of course it is at any racing circuit, but tonight it's going to be even more so because there's not a lot of it all throughout the track. You can roll that bottom side, have the defense through the corner, or you can take it up top and preserve that momentum. It's an either or situation where there's an opportunity to make a mistake either side. Looking on board with Cody Smith in number 18 right now, you see by no means is it easy for him to make this happen as he's going to work down to the bottom groove. The bumps are taking his Gen 4 stock car up and down the track, and given the high horsepower nature of these machines, it's going to be a wild ride, especially as the tires continue to wear out. Ethan Lane is already up in a 15th now, and the driver who started in 25th tonight now going to be side by side with Kyle Cooper, now Neil Froelich as well. Neil up in the wall there. Looks like he's going to have some trouble. Sticks in the wall once again. And the 17 going to be taken 3 wide. It looks like Patton and Kyle Cooper both make it by. As such, Ethan Lane takes the spot, takes them both, moves up to 14th. And now his next target would be Cody Smith just ahead of him. Further up, you're also going to see the battles continue here for Sweeting and Braxton Weiss. Nicholas Ward was passed there by Jacob Fife, so Fife moves up to 6th. It's Don Stevenson up to 5th, and Matthew Thunderstein in position number 4. Wetmore and Nick Tarbuck are going to find themselves, of course, 3rd for Wetmore, 2nd for Nick Tarbuck, but nobody getting up to Michael Laria so far. And in the early laps, that number 44 has been the dominant driver, putting himself out ahead, and so far, not looking back at all. With this start, Michael Laria set to lead another lap. We'll continue focusing on the battle so far, many of which are still close. Kyle Cooper is going to keep the number 18 of Cody Smith very honest here, and the 18 try to go up to the second groove. Kyle Cooper takes it all the way high, and the difference in lane is already going to come in play. I think for Kyle Cooper here, he's looking for an opportunity. He just hasn't gotten it all the way throughout a lap here to build up the run and make the pass again. Going to go all the way up high here through 3 and 4, gaining on the number 18 of Smith again, and you can see where that run becomes so critical down the front straightaway, because close that distance up into turns 1 and 2, it's a much better chance at making the pass in the first 2 turns, which looks to be the best passing zone all throughout the night so far. It's going to be side by side again. Ethan Lane rolling high as he did last year and beginning to make that top side work. He'll take a spot there from Cody Griffin. Now going to be looking at a 2-car battle just ahead of him, and the question is, what can he do to make it work out and get both in position if possible? Now that 54 run right up top again. Going to be Sam Nito and Chuck Sweeting again, working each other side by side, and with very little room, the only opportunity really for now would be go 3 wide or wait for one of these drivers to make a mistake. Definitely going to be a tricky path to choose, either or. As it stands, the 54 going to go right up top, stay there with Chuck Sweeting, Sam Nito down to the bottom side, and he'll keep rolling way to the bottom again. Looks like now, though, Ethan Lane, he's got the speed and should be able to look for the pass. Ethan Lane now going to be the biggest mover by far with 15 spots gained on the night. Looking for another here in Braxton Deweese, and he will lunge deeper into turn 1, exactly what he needs to take it way high. Up to the top there, you see him move. Ethan Lane gets the run all over again, and he will stick it up high. That is for 8th. Nicholas Ward next up in 7th. So far, nobody's been able to stop this number 54. He's been on a tear. He's 3.5 seconds out from your leader, and Michael Laria, however, doesn't mean it's all said and done, but it's going to take quite a while here for Ethan to claw back up to your leading driver. Even if he's going to be quite far away, he's got speed. The question is, how long can he maintain it? That time by a 25.195 for Michael Laria. It was a 24.829 for Ethan Lane. Lane is at least 2.5 tenths quicker. How about that? Number 54, Lane right now going to be in 6th. Take a lap on board here with the 54 and find out what's going on inside the cockpit. Lane right now going to put himself right up top as he takes another spot away here, and that pass there on Jacob Fife going to lead him up into 5th as he now begins to run down Matthew Thunhorse just ahead in the frame. That's the move, 22 laps in out of 150, moving him up into 5th, and Matthew Thunhorse is now going to see a little bit of an opportunity with Jared Callan, the lapper, going way low to Tom Wetmore down. Wetmore last night racing the FTF Grand National Series as they headed. They went to the old Atlanta Motor Speedway rather than Fontana, where they went previously in the week. With that being said, it was a 12th place finish for Tom Wetmore. He got it done there in the modern Xfinity car as opposed to the Gen 4 stock car you're seeing tonight. So he's come back as his doubleheader continues. Matthew Thunhorse here is going to be in 4th, and we saw him last night in the Integrity Ignite Series, finishing in 2nd and continuing his 3 consecutive weeks of podium finishes. Now, when it comes to Matthew Thunhorse, he was not all too delighted, shall we say, when it came down to his performance last night. Said it all came down to the luck of the draw and the strategy. However, of course, he's done it 3 times over now, making it into the podium. He'd love to, of course, do so again Monday night, but he's looking right now at an opportunity to get inside the top 3, which might be a bit more challenging the way Ethan Lane gets in the frame. Big jump there for the 54 as he moves up top, and it looks like he's rolling it high once again. No pressure. He'll take the spot and move in quick. Ethan Lane down Thunder Alley again, making a spot up and moving into fourth. 25 laps in out of 150, go way behind, and you'll also see Jacob Fife still trying to chase down Matthew Thunderst. Ethan Lane has been the quickest driver by a long shot here. We predicted that he'd have a very good chance of going back-to-back for the win, and it looks like he is going to be firmly putting himself in the spot to contend and put in more effort lap after lap that he gets here in the first stint. It's going to help him even more so in the second. Drastic change between the first and second stints as we see him these green flag runs. If you set up nicely in the first, you'll do much better in the second here, and you can see Lane going down to that bottom side, looking right down low on Tom Wetmore. They'll be side by side, and this is the battle for third. Looks like that's going to be Tom Wetmore keeping the defense on. You see how quickly Lane's going to get shot back there, and that's about the worst lap he's run all night long. As such, Wetmore's going to maintain third. Matthew Thunderst is going to be now a little bit closer, but he's still in fifth and far away. All the while, Lane's going to have to regroup here, so there's a bit of trouble, and it looks like two drivers, and Chuck Sweeting and Colin Gibman. Yellow flag is not out. However, you can see two drivers limping. No caution going to fly. Let's get the instant replay and figure out what just caused it here. Trouble. It's going to be coming down the back straightaway for a bounce. What looked to be 10th place here. So take a look at it once again. Brad Patton might have gotten a piece here of Chuck Sweeting, and maybe that's where it all kicked off. You see Patton not going to get involved at all. He looked to have slid down first, but Sweeting ends up in the wall, tags Colin Gidman, and as such, yellow flag not going to fly. Both drivers going to clear themselves up nicely and stay green as such. Now you're going to see Colin Gibman back on the way in 22nd. For Chuck Sweeting, his night appears to be over. He just disconnected from the session. And just like that, we are back on the way. Colin Gibman in the number 9, going to be currently on the lead lap, but only just. And he'll be in jeopardy here as Michael Larry is coming by slowly but surely to perhaps collect him and put him one lap down. Looking again further back, you see Ethan Lane has regrouped himself and now is going to be in firm competition with both Tom Wetmore and Nick Tarbuck. And the battle for the podium, once again, going to be 3 drivers looking for the runner-up spot. And of course now, Ethan Lane, despite the damage, he is still quick and going to put the pressure on Wetmore once again. Chris DeWeese and Doug Mindorf, thank you for stopping by in the chat room. Great to have you here. And it's going to be now that 54th lane. We're looking for an opportunity, finding that groove, but just can't find the pass just yet. He's still looking, but hasn't quite gotten it done. Now it's Ethan Lane still on the back bumper, looking at how close it is for Wetmore here. He's going to have to drive down low for any chance to get past Tom. And the 51, you're watching now inside the cockpit to see the wheel movements as the fight progresses. Wetmore stays up high, gets the run down the back straightaway through Thunder Alley. It's going to be another wiggle there for Ethan Lane and a little bit of contact with the wall for Wetmore. But it looks like for now, he's going to be in a much better situation to keep on defending. 33 laps in out of 150. At the line again, you see there, Lane fades back 5/10, and Tom Wetmore not making it easy. So much so that now it's going to be Matthew Thunderst working down to the bottom side and aiming to take the pass. Another spot going to be made up for the number 80, and it looks like despite the backward motion previously, he's figured himself out nice enough to go at it once again. It's the 80 of Matthew Thunderst, and you can see from there, Ethan Lane going to turn multiple drivers. Thunderst turned with John Steele. Yellow flag is out. Both drivers save it, but the caution will fly regardless. Yellow flag is out again, and it looks like this one gonna start, of course, up in the front of the field. Caution is out. And take a look at it one more time here. You see Ethan Lane with a Matthew Thunderst, and these two drivers are going to be the drivers, of course, that kick it all off. And see the 54 Lane contact with the lapper of John Steele. Then Thunderst gets turned All three drivers are going to get away with a minimal damage. Lane and Steele look like they got nothing. Matthew Thunnor is going to be a kiss or two on the wall, and the caution is out. Once again, it's going to be under pacing, 36 laps in out of 150, and we are once again going to be under yellow. Get tonight going. 2 cautions early that time, though. It looks like everyone once again gets away relatively cleanly, and as such, an opportunity again for strategy to shuffle. Michael Larrier going to have control up in the front of the field. It's the 44 who's on top of the board, and Nick Tarbuck going to come through with Tom Wetmore. 1, 2, 3, dropping down and in this time by. Here we go again. Larrier going to bring him through, and as such, strategy going to change drastically. This is the first big pit call of the night, and as such, everyone going to come through and get themselves ready for what could be a 70-lap stint, which gets them to about lap 100 if we were to stay under green. Pit road going to be active as we see here, and it looks like it's going to be Nick Tarbuck coming in there with Larrier. You see Tom Wetmore there too. Are there going to be any surprises on pit exit? That remains the question. Right now, it looks like everyone's still going to be on there. 4 tires and fuel, that's the goal. And coming out this time by Michael Larrier, squeals the tires, gets ahead of Tarbuck, then Wetmore, Thunhorst, Jacob Fife. Then it's going to be Nicholas Ward, Brad Patton, Sam Nito, Cody Smith. There, Don Stevenson to round out the top 10. Everyone gets set up once again. Here we go. There's Jim Fife. He's going to be scored now in third. The 63 looks to not go down a pit road here, so a bit of an interesting call. We'll see whether or not he does now. Looks like it's all but certain he will, and it's going to be Jim Fife working his way down and in. All the while, rest of the field set to go once again. Michael Larrier, once again your leader. John Cars, who was involved in that first caution, is up in front. And we will go back green this time by at lap 40. We're going to be coming back at the start of 40, at the end of lap number 39, and it's Michael Larrier and Nick Tarbuck once again together. Most drivers come in for strategy, of course, and it looks like most indeed come in for tires. One man who's in right now is Jim Fife, and it looks like everyone in the field now, with the exception currently of Fife and John Steele, is on that new set of Goodyear rubber. And when those two drivers get out of pit road, which it looks like they will in the coming moments, everyone will be on level playing field once again. Now, looking for a driver like Ethan Lane, who was involved in that incident. He's almost back to where he started in 23rd. So as such, he's going to, of course, face the repercussions of the caution, and he will be there in 23rd spot. Hopefully an opportunity to return and get back up there again, but it's going to be a much harder fight for him. Matthew Thunhorst actually doesn't lose all too much. I think he actually gains. He's up to third right now. A little bit of a kiss on the wall, but with all being said and done, he spun around, gets new tires, and is now running in third ahead of Fife, Ward, and Patton. Drivers who he's been so far in the race ahead of by a clear margin. He's got a little bit of protection there for third, and actually might help him here in regards to staying inside the podium. So the troubles early are going to assist more than we expected. Yellow flag is going to fly, and as such, it's now going to be a huge opportunity for Thunhorst, as Michael Larrier and Nick Tarbuck, who have been the dominant drivers so far, are up there once again and are set to lead the field through as we come around for our second restart of the day. This is going to be restart number 2. Green flag and a fly at lap 40. To get at it one more time here. 39 laps in out of 150, coming to lap 40 here. First quarter of the race, it's gone quite smoothly despite the few hiccups along the road. And set to find out who's got what it takes after our first big pit cycle of the night. Green flag and a fly in the hands of our number 44. Michael Larrier going to lead him in. Green flag's out. We are back on the way. Now Jacob Fife going to be looking there on Matthew Thunhorst. Brad Patton going to keep him honest as well. And as such, it's already going to be a fight inside the top 5. But for the podium, they'll get away nicely once again. So far, so good for the drivers up in front. Side by side with Patton and Fife going to maintain themselves cleanly. And We're on back in the field. You'll see other battles such as Ryan Farrell there with Kyle Cooper. Brian McFerrin is going to be with Neil Froelich. Braxton Deweese is going to be with Cody Griffin. And it looks like right now Justin Trombley getting himself in the mix. A driver who did not put in a qualifying time at all. Now going to be there in the 34, running inside the single digits for the first time tonight. So Trombley, another driver, much like Ethan Lane, who has to make big moves all night long. And this is, of course, going to be the first of many, getting inside the top 10, then going to move to the top 5. Of course, the podium would be the up next destination, and probably, while the night is not done, maybe a chance for a podium and then some here as your top 3 once again run away. Nick Tarbuck was very fast last night. We see him on doing, of course, the double-header circuit here in the Integrity Racing League. And right now, he's once again running inside the podium as he was largely. He was up in front leading last night in Nashville. Came down to, of course, the final caution of the day where he was involved with a major contact. It was multiple drivers who were leading up in front who ended up wrecked by the end of it, including Blake Gordon, who nearly won the race. DJ Stagner sent it deep through 3 and 4. Gordon stayed high and ended up destroyed. He finished 4th with some damage, and that was his night for Nick Tarbuck. Didn't even have the opportunity to finish inside the top 10. His damage was too severe. So for tonight, of course, he's a championship favorite so far in the early going of this series. Maybe an opportunity to pull together another nice run and keep himself in good standing. Ethan Lane up to 17th. Already, we're watching Lane once again. He started this run in 23rd tonight. That being said, he's already made it back up about 6 spots so far in only 8 laps. And of course, next up on the agenda would be Ryan Farrell, Kyle Cooper, Brian McFerrin, and all the other drivers you see just ahead of his frame. They're still there. It might be the next targets the way things are looking. Close battle further on back. That's going to be Trevor Trago here with Tom Wetmore. Wetmore, when it comes to strategy, not going to have a good start here. And, of course, this stint much different from the first, not inside the podium at all, and rather, he'll be running in 19th at the moment. That's the lowest he's run under green all night long, and he finds himself there, of course, still some tight battles as he has Garland Gidman just ahead of him, Ethan Lane 2 spots up, but track position such a huge part of the night. Really don't want to lose it, especially in the way that Tom Wetmore has. Only one driver seeming to have the opportunity to make it around the field quickly. Ethan Lane. So I think if there's anyone that can do it, the 54 can, but gaining spots, it's been troublesome. If you aren't up in front to begin with, it's very hard to get there naturally. 48 laps in out of 150, we're seeing Lane go for his second run up through the pack. Cody Griffin right now going to be running in 10th. Justin Trombley just ahead of him, and Trombley now going to begin to look low on the number 2 of Sam Nito here. Hasn't quite gotten it. However, Trombley going to be closer than he's been previously and coming across very soon to the 1/3 marker of this race. He's looking to gain another spot, move up to 8th. And the way things are looking, maybe get up there with Cody Smith, who is in 7th. However, the opportunities are still few and far between for drivers such as the 18 here. He's in the middle of this train. He's got Sam behind him, Nicholas Ward up in front. An opportunity to make a pass with a mistake ahead, and we might see one here out of Matthew Thunhorst. He will wiggle back and let Brad Patton go by. As such, there, Matthew Thunhorst going to give one spot away by force. Wasn't able to hold on with this battle in mind, and he will drop back. Brad Patton will move up. Find himself now in 3rd. Nick Tarbuck is going to be in 2nd. Patton rounds out the podium. Jake Fife going to be inside the top 5 himself, and Nicholas Ward position number 6. Some consistent changes, shall we say, with drivers moving up and down the order. Now making it into the top 5. Jacob Fife, Nicholas Ward about a half second behind him, and more opportunities for drivers to make their moves as they come down Thunder Alley. Sam Nito there in the number 2 machine with Cody Griffin now rounding out the top 10. One battle we'd like to take the focus back to is one that's running for about 15th here. You'll see Kyle Cooper and Ryan Farrell. If you take a look on board with the number 93, you'll see exactly what it's like here to be working amid the track position fight as everyone is scuffling for every position, and it's been a struggle for power all night long between these drivers. Ryan Farrell right now staying on that backside of the 73. Kyle Cooper going to go high once again, but that's not going to be a sign of giving in for position, at least until they come through 1 and 2. Down to the bottom side for Ryan Farrell, it's Kyle Cooper right up top. Number 73, Chevy Impala, knows exactly what he's doing here, and he's on defending with that other groove. If you can't get up there, there's really nothing you can do besides waiting and waiting and waiting again. Brian McFerrin right now going to be running in 15th. Neil Froelich is 14th with Ethan Lane, position number 13. Then from there, you see Stevenson, Braxton Deweese, Cody Griffin, Justin Trombley, and Sam Nito all inside of a little pack here. Cody Griffin in particular getting closer and closer to Trombley each and every lap. Just hasn't found the opportunity to make the pass stick so far. However, he is getting somewhat closer lap after lap. That time by him, it's going to be Cody Griffin who runs a 25.026, whereas there's a 25.123 for Justin Trombley. Now there might be an opportunity for the number 3 to make a pass here. Cody Griffin just behind Trombley, but it looks like he is somewhat quicker as John Steele, the lap machine, goes right up top, laying the leaders and their company right by. Ethan Lane is getting back up to John Steele and also getting up to Don Stevenson. Now going to be running in 13th for Ethan Lane. He's going to be just within the top 13, of course, just behind Stevenson. Looking to make a few more spots up now as he's about 0.3 of a second back on Stevenson. And then there's that big pack, and effectively the second pack of the race. That is a huge fight for just about 7th on back with Cody Smith. And now it's going to be Cody Smith getting a little bit more pressure here. Sam going to run up top, looking for a side-by-side maneuver. The 18 of Smith is going to hold his own. And now Sam Nito going to get that bottom side on his own groove. And that's the pass that works out for 7th. Cody Smith sent one spot back all the while. Braxton Deweese now looked for a position on Trombley. Side by side, a 13 going to be in the middle. And Braxton made it by. Trombley now going to be set up and passed again. And Justin is down into 11th as a result. Look further back, and you're also going to see now Brian McFerrin racing hard with the number 93 of Ryan Farrell. Looks like Farrell and, in addition, Kyle Cooper, they both made their way in. As it stands, they're slowly but surely working their way through 3 and 4 into the front stretch, and Kyle Cooper gets the run this time by. Will lunge it into turn 1. McFerrin able to defend as you see Cooper ends up a little bit more contact there with some slight damage, and Neil Froelich is now in the mix. Froelich, the lap machine, going to get passed there by McFerrin, and he's going to be another blockade that helps out for the number 07. All the while, Froelich is going to be there, slowly pushing back. Now he's going to be in 16th as it stands. Ryan Farrell going to be now inside the top 15. And Wetmore also going to be right there as well, side by side. The 51 going to be down to the bottom side. However, it might just be another pass here for Kyle Cooper too, as Trevor Trago slides up in the picture at the same time. More and more drivers are connecting themselves to one another here. Braxton Deweese going to be just behind Cody Smith. Sam Nito now going to be with Nicholas Ward, and it looks like the 2 big packs in the field are connecting. Ward going to be with Jacob Fife. Jim Fife is now side by side with the number 97, and as such, laps in out of 150. It's going Ward now making his move into 6th with Sam Nito and Cody Smith giving heavy pressure, and the 97's back bumper now going to be filled as the 2 go side by side, lunging deep, and so does Cody Smith. Now, while Cody Smith not going to get away, the number 2 of Sam Nito does, and now Braxton Deweese has an opportunity as he'll look down to the bottom side as well. This angle going to show you both the ins and the outs of the cockpit, literally speaking. And now Braxton going to go down to that bottom groove and try to make a pass here. Ward going to defend down Thunder Alley once again. You'll see that 13 working his way low in the Bennett's Ford Mustang. Now it's that number 13 who's trying to make something happen, just can't quite do it there, and you're beginning to see that tire fatigue come into play once again. A little bit of a wiggle as he came down and into the front straightaway. Cody Smith slightly up on the wall there, but gets away again. And now we're beginning to understand how far these drivers can push the limits in regards to tires and what they have to go through for the rest of the stint. Now, we're estimating that this stint will run until about lap 95 or lap 100, and then we'll see our final pit stops of the night, no matter what. It's going to be a two-stop race the way things are looking. Ethan Lane now going to be intent and looking down at the bottom side in his own number 54. As such, you're going to there, Lane gonna run down the back straight here, down Thunder Alley. He's got Cody Smith and Braxton Weiss just in front, and now maybe two drivers blocking. What's the call? Going three wide, maybe waiting a little bit, waits for a mistake, and he will get one. Nicholas Ward in the wall, and Ethan Lane turned. Yellow flag is out once again. Caution flies, Lane involved, but this time it starts with Nicholas Ward. And soon as we mentioned, getting up to that midway point, caution will fly. Take a look back this time through and find out what caused it here. It looks like the catalyst was Nicholas Ward this time by, and I think that number 97 really was the man that kicked it all off with his wiggle, and there gets in the wall. Then Deweese gets contact, Ward hooks up, Griffin then tags Ethan Lane, and as such the caution will fly. Everyone gets away with minor damage again. It looks like Braxton Deweese, Cody Griffin, Cody Smith all get through. Lane is going to end up rolling, and Nicholas Ward there, as you saw, ends up turned again. Caution is out. And here we go, 68 laps in out of 150, potentially looking at another pit stop cycle. The Rockingham 150 getting exciting, and tell you this much, if you're enjoying the fun here, pit road gonna get busy, and we'd like to extend a special offer courtesy of our friends at iRacing Motorsport Simulations for discounts of just about 50% off, or rather 40 right now, up to over 70% for certain promo codes and memberships above 3 months in length. Check out iRacing.com for more information. iRacing.com, and iRacing is a platform, the #1 online motorsports simulator and the most realistic place to start your sim racing career. Every FTN broadcast is brought to you using iRacing technology with laser scanned cars and tracks as real as the thing you see outside in the real world. Stock car racing, open wheel racing, dirt, road, sports cars, everything in between. iRacing has you covered, so check them out tonight after this broadcast and visit the eNASCAR newsletter for all news about virtual professional stock car racing. We'll be right back after a brief message courtesy of our friends at iRacing Motorsport Simulations. 69 laps in, Michael Lariat nicely gets out of pit road and leads in the Rockingham 150.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head to head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series in officially licensed cars engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Coming a 1 lap to green this time by, we'll be restarting at the end of lap number 71. Michael Laria once again has control, but if you look just a bit further back, Brad Patton going to be second, Nick Tarbuck then going to be in third, and Matthew Thunhorst then in fourth. Top 4 right now going to be some familiar faces. Patton is a driver who's been moving his way on up all night long. He is your biggest mover right now, 27th up to second. Patton, Trombley, and Ethan Lane have been the big guys in terms of movement tonight. Trombley now going to be in 7th. Ethan Lane, despite being involved in that most recent caution, is in 11th, so he doesn't have to restart his progress entirely. However, once again, hampering the opportunity he had to make those moves up quickly. But again, the majority of the field is on the exact same pit cycle here. So at the halfway marker, this is your third caution of the day. we are going to get set to roll once more. Michael Laria has been the dominant man, leading almost every lap on the track so far tonight, and the number 44, a rookie out in front, is still all eyes on what could be his first Octane Series victory and his first Integrity Racing League victory, for that matter. Now down to the inside, the iRacing official pace car goes down and in. Green flags out at lap 72. Laria gets the jump, and Patton looks to have a wiggle here. Does he save it? It looks like there's trouble already. Drivers get scrambled up. Apron is going to be where many go. Yellow flag is out again. Patton is going to be involved with Ryan Farrell. Caution is out as soon as we go green. Let's take a look back here. It looks like it starts as soon as we get things going. Coming out of turn 4, let's look at it once more. And a little bit of a delay to even watch this incident because that's how quick it started. Looks like Patton on his own might have either shifted wrong, a muddy shift of some sort, or something else mechanical there. Deweese gets involved. Ryan Farrell's going to spin. Looks like just barely drivers go around Braxton. And of course, Brad Patton and Ryan Farrell get a very big piece of it there, and the caution is out yet again. That's the 4th time. It's our first back-to-back of the night, and multi-car contact and calamity 73 laps in. Bring ourselves back under pacing once more. So Michael Laria going to be up in front with Nick Tarbuck there in 2nd, Matthew Thunors 3rd, and Jacob Fife 4th. We will line up again, and it should be a quick yellow here. 1 lap to green. Signal is not out on the track just yet. With the way the drivers are lining up, we expect to see it within this lap or the next here. Caution is out again, and we will be set to go at the end of lap number 75, we're predicting, if not this time by. Drivers are bunched up once more. We're getting the field grouped together, and a few drivers come down to pit road, namely Brad Patton, Randy Fiash, Ryan Farrell, and boarded up once more. Looks like they're single file again, so we should wait a few laps longer, and then we'll get going for the second half of this race. Laria, Tarbuck, and Matthew Thunors. The 1, 2, 3 as it stands are running very well tonight. And for, of course, Laria and Tarbuck in particular, they have been dominant as the 1-2 punch that have led this field throughout the entirety of the way. Matthew Thunors, in all honesty, benefited from a caution which involved him. And ever since then, he's been within the confines of the top 3, once again running inside of the podium. And it looks like he took a big negative and really spun it around and did a whole 180 on it because he's still here inside the top 3, and strategy has treated him nicely so far. We're going to wait one more lap than we predicted, by the way. So we'll come back green at lap number 77, mind you. Still waiting here as the field gets bunched up again. Tom Wetmore is now going to be in 12th. However, that comes at a cost. He is back inside the top 15. However, he's got front end damage, which is somewhat major here. And even though the aerodynamics might not matter as much as a quicker or bigger track, shall we say, you can still see there's a lot of bumping all throughout that hood. It's going to be a perforated number 51 with the bumps pulling right up to the top of the TubeTech Chevrolet here, and I don't quite know what the plan is for Wetmore, but he's still going to have to keep on driving. The way it goes, it looks like he's not going to come down to pit road, and he'll just try to muscle the car around given the circumstances. Wetmore definitely not going to be happy about such a concept. Of course, the damage on him, and after that last caution, of course, we have seen quite a few incidents coming more recently. Yellow flag out again for the 4th time tonight, and we head back to green. This time by, it's going to be double file, Laria, Tarbuck, Thunors, and Jacob Fife. Top 4, as we are now only 75 laps away from the checkered flag. First half tonight, it's been quick. Now we're going to figure out whether or not these drivers have anything in it for the second half where everything is on the line. At the top of the board, the dominant man tonight, and that number 44, Tarbuck, who's already a winner in this series, looking to go for another chance at victory lane. And Matthew Thunors there, who's been just about Mr. Consistency in both the Ignite and Octane series as of recent. He's in the podium again. However, he would like to be the bridesmaid no longer and figure out his own way to victory lane. All these storylines, of course, still a ways from the checkered flag, will continue You see these drivers set themselves up and head down to the green. They will again. Restart number 4. Lariat and Tarbuck up in front. Green flag going to fly, and here we go again. Green's out for Michael Lariat, and Nick Tarbuck back on the move for the second half of this race. Lariat leads him. Tarbuck right there to follow. Gets away again. That number 44 back out in the lead. Nick Tarbuck going to be there second, and Matthew Thunhorse in third. Letting that lap play out, you see this time we don't get an immediate caution, so we're good to go again. Tom Wetmore, despite the damage, moves up into 9th immediately here, so it looks like the damage is not going to stop him from pursuing more positions, and as such, Galen Gidman going to go right up high. That's going to be another spot taken from Wetmore quickly, but he's still there inside the top 10, and looks like he's going to get that jump on the restart, which makes all of the difference here. Cody Griffin coming down the back straightaway. Looks low, but definitely not enough room to make the pass, so he will settle again and look behind the number 51. Brian McFerrin going to be 12th, and Kyle Cooper is there in 13th. And for those watching on FTN tonight, we do have 2 shows going on at the same time. The Highline Racing League Truck Series is back on FTN as they head to the Twin Ring Motegi. Check them out if you're interested. They just started about 20 minutes ago, and their racing is getting on for the night, so hopefully you enjoy that. Get going once again. It's going to be the green flag due to fly for the 73, of course, of Kyle Cooper. He's been seeing the green flag for the Highline Racing League. They will be going green at 10 o'clock for their second race of the day. And you see now Tom Wetmore going to be with Cody Griffin side by side. They're going to keep it 2-by-2 here. Wetmore not giving in. See there, the 51, he is not going to stop on the bottom side, but Griffin just a little bit too much, and Wetmore no match right now. Given the damage, he's driving it hard, but just not enough to keep up, given the circumstances and the damage. Down to the bottom side, there goes Jacob Fife all over again. 69 laps to go, and a nice battle coming together here with Ethan Lane. Lane going to make another quick position. Nobody able to keep up so far with that 54, and now Justin Trombley within sight. Look on board now with the number 54 Lane and figure out exactly how he puts together these passes. Ethan Lane really makes that one look easy. As you see, he makes another spot up, and he's got clean skies ahead of him and a clear track up in front as well. He makes it through on Justin Trombley. That's going to be good for 4th, and it's the highest spot the Lane is running all night long. As we take 2 laps with him here, he's still ahead there of Trombley, and only just as side by side now, Cody Smith and also Galen Gidman. Gidman goes down to the bottom side here, looking way down low in the RSVP 9 machine. That's going to move him right back up a spot and take it away from Cody Smith. Smith running very well tonight, and that consistency that we expected out of him all throughout this year looks to be coming back into fruition. As it stands, he's going to be up there in the 9th spot with Cody Griffin just behind, and the 2 Codys now running inside the top 10. They're the drivers that are concluding the top 10 right now, as Tom Wetmore remains in 11th, despite the fact, of course, that Cody Griffin having a little bit of trouble getting going tonight. He's made his way up well inside of that top 10, and now looking at Cody Smith perhaps with another opportunity to defend. But see that left side damage, not going to make it any easier. Looking low now, Griffin going to take it bottom side. All the while, Smith stays in the middle groove, and he will not budge. They'll be side by side all over again. At the line, Griffin going to lead no longer. It looks like it's going to be Smith who takes the spot right back, and they'll stay side by side. The final position inside the top 10, and it looks like now Griffin does have the lead in the battle, taking it right back quickly. That's going to be a fast move down Thunder Alley. The advantage Griffin now as Ethan Lane remains just ahead of Justin Trombley. Now the question is, 3 seconds away from your race leader, and he's running relatively even laps. Does Ethan Lane have it in him to get inside the podium and go for the race lead now? Of course, making it by Justin Trombley and all the other drivers behind from 25th, a huge feat in itself. But now for Thunhorst, Tarbuck, and Michael Laria, all drivers who ran away together, it's going to be a big challenge to get back up to him right now. They're all together far from Ethan Lane. Can he get back there? Is there an opportunity to do just that? 62 laps to go so far, and those three really got away nice enough to leave Ethan in the dust. Now there's another battle here with Jay Haishman and Trevor Drago. Drago down to the bottom side with Jay Haishman right there up top. Braxton Weiss might make it middle three, and he's also there in the mix as they'll fight each other coming out of four. Now it's going to be Jay Haishman running off and trying to get with Brian McFerrin and Kyle Cooper here from one battle to the next. This is going to be the fight just outside the top 10. Haishman having a solid night in 14th. Kyle Cooper going to remain about where he qualified here, looking at about the 12th spot. And Tom Wetmore, despite the damage, is still there in 11th, running a very commendable event so far. With 60 laps to go, we're going to take you through all of our top 10. Laria first, Nick Tarbuck second, Matthew Thunhorst in third, Ethan Lane fourth, and Justin Trombley there in fifth. Jacob Fife is going to be in sixth, and it's going to be Sam Nito in seventh, with Colin Gidman eighth, Cody Griffin ninth, and Cody Smith of Next Level Racing rounding out the top 10. As always here with the Integrity Racing League, we would like to thank our premier partner, Next Level Racing, for their high-quality sim racing performance products made for dedicated sim racers who deserve nothing but the best. For more information, make sure to check out nextlevelracing.com as the night goes on. We'd love to have you check out their exclusive list of premier sim racing products, and of course, make sure to support them while supporting the Integrity Racing League. You're watching the Octane Series and the Rockingham 150, and we'll be right back after an exclusive message from our friends at Next Level Racing. .55 laps to go, this time by Cody Smith, still going to be inside the top 10, and it looks like now Ethan Lane is inside the podium. He's gotten through one in Matthew Thunhorst, and next up will be Nick Tarbuck. Number 4 of Tarbuck right now, 7/10 away from your leader, which means Ethan Lane is in striking distance now, perhaps going for the top spot, in a better position than he's been in all night long to take that race lead as he finds himself there in third inside the podium. 97 laps in, out of 150. Checkered flag within, of course, closing distance for all drivers, but Lane in the wall and riding it through the corner. And all of a sudden, momentum going to be lost big time. That is several tenths he's going to lose just like that. It's going to be the Dodge number 54 way up high and in the wall once again. It looks like troubles, but this time self-inflicted as the Dodge 54 going to fade back even more. We'll see whether or not he can keep going here, but he gets in the wall twice over. And it looks like 3 times that's the charm, as Lane is still going to have a lot of troubles handling right up high. Maybe he's going to want a caution now after all that he's been through. He's been, of course, dreading the yellows because he's been involved in them. But now, Lane with a lot of damage there on the right side as he's beating himself up to get up to the lead, and that's going to cost him drastically, while Nick Tarbuck is still fighting to keep himself alive. 100 laps in, Lane knows he had the speed. Maybe he still does, but with all that damage, it's going to hamper him big time, and maybe going to cut down for those precious laps that every driver requires to make up positions. He's still there, and with 51 laps to go, it looks like Lane might have just gotten the caution he needs. Ryan Farrell involved, and the yellow flag is out again. 93 looked to be the only driver in this one, and the caution is out once more. 50 laps to go this time by, and you're going to see it here. Sean Kalis going to be there with Ryan Farrell and Alan Rawell. It's going to be Farrell who actually backs out of the battle, and you'll see the 69 of Rawell right there with them. Now it looks like Farrell ends up losing it coming down through 3 and 4, and particularly that was the exit of 4, and it might have just been a clip of the apron which sends him spinning. Caution is out again. Yellow flag flies with 50 laps remaining, and as such we are underpacing 1 laps in out of 150. Looks like Ryan Farrell's night is over, and we're going to be once again heading down a pit road big time here in the Rock. Take a look down low, and you'll see drivers making their way in. Michael Laria going to be there with Nick Tarbuck, Ethan Lane, and Matthew Thunhorst. It's a game-changing pit stop once again, and it looks like it's going to be our 3rd pit stop cycle of the night. This should be the one that gets us all the way to the end unequivocally, unless we have a caution very late in the going. I don't think there's going to be anything else which we should expect. Laria there with Tarbuck, and Ethan Lane going to be coming through early as well. We'll see how quickly he makes it through. As it stands, you're going to see the 51 of Wetmore working his way through into pit road, but an exit is first for Michael Laria, then Tarbuck, Ethan Lane 3rd, Thunhorst 1st, Trombley's going to be in 5th, 5th, 6th, then Nito, then immediately after Gollin Gidman, Cody Griffin, and finally it's going to be Griffin in 10th, Kyle Cooper in 11th. Jacob Fife is scored as the leader, so one other driver, of course, it looks like it's going to be Kyle Cooper promoted to the top 10, as Fife is going to come down and in this time through. Jim goes in, Jacob stays out, and of course the Fife drivers, father and son, going to be separate here, with the youngest of which now up inside of the 6th spot. As Jim Fife goes through, Jacob makes it around the stripe again, and the 36 now just outside of the top 5. 48 laps remaining this time. And given that we have another caution here, we have a little bit of time as a break from the action. So we're not going to interrupt the green flag racing, and instead we'll bring you your second Next Level Racing promotional message here and now. For more information about Next Level Racing's high-quality fleet of sim racing equipment, check out nextlevelracing.com after tonight's broadcast. We'd love to have you join the Next Level Racing family and support the premier partner of the Integrity Racing League. Right back after this message, courtesy of our friends at Next Level Racing. You're watching the Rockingham 150, and we will return green with 46 laps to go. 47 laps to go this time by. Rockingham 150 going to be making it through. This time around, it's still going to be Michael Laria, the race leader, Nick Tarbuck in second, Ethan Lane there in third. Thunhorst going to be in the fourth spot, and Justin Trombley in fifth. Top five right now composed of largely familiar faces to the front-running group. Ethan Lane has slowly but surely made his way in from 25th on the board for Justin Trombley. He's a driver who came from 24th, so we got big movers alongside guys who started inside the top three up at the front of the field. Let's look out once again as we are set to go green flag racing with 46 laps to go. Green flies once again. Michael Laria in control. Green flag out in the air, and it'll be Laria getting the jump again. Michael Laria gets the jump once more. Nick Tarbuck going to be right behind, 2/10 back. Top two drivers very close, and now you're looking off the back bumper of your leader with pressure right behind. With Laria having the advantage all throughout this race, looks like Nick Tarbuck now finding some room to maybe claw in further, as it looks like Ethan Lane going to drop back big to 10th on this start. He's going to fade back there and now be fighting with Tom Wetmore with that damage. As it stands, you can see that number 54 of Lane working down and in, getting the spot back from Wetmore. However, now it's going to be once again an uphill climb for a driver who's had so much speed. And it looks like for 43 laps to go, Lane definitely has to claw back again. He's about 3 seconds off of Laria, and while he's made up that distance before, is he going to be able to do it again is the big question here. Fatigue for the driver, fatigue for the car, a caution out in the racetrack. Sean Kalis involved, and we are once again pacing here. Brad Patton involved, same goes for Brian Perry, and we are under caution. Once more, taking a look back, instantaneous replay, going to show you just a bit more. Yellow flag out again, taking a look at Sean Kalis as he rolls down the backstretch here. And you see him with the 62 of Brian Perry momentarily. The 43, however, gets loose first. And then he comes right back up. Patton gonna turn him over, and it's a flip at Rockingham. Up and over Sean Kalis goes, and he'll go for a fast barrel roll and get back all the way. Sean Kalis is going to have a flip at the Rock, shades of Carl Long in 2004, and it looks like he's going to go up and over and still keep driving. Let's take a look on board this time with Sean Kalis as he's going to go flipping here at the Rock. Take a look one more time and you will see exactly what happened. Up and over. We're going to look at it one more time there. Looks like it's interrupted just slightly. It's going to be Kalis who ends up flipping. How about that? Rolled up, gets back on the way, and he keeps on driving here, so not as much trouble as it could have been. See now, Kalis back on the move. He gets through the smoke show, and he will be able to get back with the field here. He's running in 26th, and now right there again. Yellow flag is out with 40 laps remaining. Michael Laria is your leader, and we just had a flip at the Rock. How about that for a violent incident? Luckily for the number 43 of Kalis who was involved, you can see it there. Going to be Kalis, of course, who gets involved with the incident. Laria in the number 44 up in front, and Nick Tarbuck again in second. Now with Laria coming around this time by 2 laps to green, we're going to be heading back with only about 38 laps to go the way things are looking. And with that being said, running out of time for each and every one of these drivers. The question becomes, what are we going to see out of the rest of this race? Cautions becoming slowly but surely more frequent, only on a 10-lap stint, and that led us right back to the caution again. With 39 laps remaining, will we see more cautions begin to brew again? Are we going to have drivers begin to get a little more calm as the race gets to its closing stage? Or will we see aggression rise up and maybe send us into overtime? The way things are looking, anything is possible here, and Rockingham by no means an easy track. We're starting to see the pitfalls of those challenges with a flip, a few bigger incidents as the race has progressed. Ryan Farrell, Chuck Sweeting, Jared Collin, the only 3 retirees so far tonight. John Cars is 6 laps down. John Steele is now 5 laps down. And Nicholas Ward may go 1 down if he doesn't get back on the way here. We're looking at the number 97. And if he doesn't get back on the track this time by, he will go a lap down. And he will off of the leading cycle as the drivers come by down the front straightaway. Laria going to send them in now. It's going to be a total of 1 to green, and we'll come back with 37 laps to go. Getting ready to rumble all over again. A little bit of smoke still billowing. I think for now the drivers are fine to get back at it, put this field back into full power. Larry and Tarbuck have been up in front almost every lap of this race, and Matthew Thunhorse is now a steady 3rd. The real battles have been just beyond that point, where Trombley's now fighting with Fife, Gidman is there with Kyle Cooper, Sam Nito is going to be with Ethan Lane, and Lane, after what was overall a disastrous restart there, he's back up to 9th in the single digits. Maybe he'll have an opportunity to pull through and once again gain spots. I wouldn't say it's a guarantee necessarily, but now with that single position, of course, getting back those gains after falling back to 10th, might be a chance here as he runs 9th right beside Sam and just behind Kyle Cooper as we set to see the green flag once more. 37 laps to go this time by. Pace cars in. Laria rolls out the leader. Green flag's out again. Michael Laria gets control. Coming through 3 and 4, going to be an early jump for your top 2 drivers. Looking for Ethan Lane. He's going up high. Tom Wetmore, Gollin, Gidman, Sam Nito also battling. And now just in the final spots of the top 10, the battle rages on. Lane going to be held up high here. Wetmore defending on the bottom. And despite the damage, Tom Wetmore still running very well in that 51. Continuing to put down a solid performance amid his troubles. And Ethan Lane now going to look right up high. The 54 going to be up top. The 51 right down low. And the Tube Tech Chevrolet has to give in there. Nice run with momentum here for Lane. Wetmore stays inside the top 10. And while his day is not all said and done, Gidman now going to be right there with Ethan Lane. And Gollin going to be up top with the RSVP machine now working down Thunder Alley. You can see there, Lane working through or making another spot. Into 7th he goes. Sam Nito going to be 6th, and Justin Trombley there in 5th. How about a 3-wide move down to the bottom side? Lane takes him 3, and now he's looking for a bit more space. Trombley rubs up on the 54. Lane will get by, but it won't be easy. And now Sam Nito holds his own once again, keeps the spot, and Gollin Gidman gets by Justin Trombley. All the while, Tom Wetmore gains room, and now Braxton Deweese in the mix as well. Big move there for Ethan Lane. Could have had disastrous consequences, but he does get the spot he needs, and as such, his fight continues. Don't think Trombley's going to be quite the happiest driver on the track here as the battle persists. Take a look on board now to Kyle Cooper. He's right in the middle of the heated fight for 10th. Now Kyle Cooper here going to go down to the bottom side. Braxton Deweese once again gets a run, and Tom Wetmore, damage and all, continues to defend. Nobody else doing it quite like Wetmore right now with that 51 beaten and bruised, still running inside of the single digits. Braxton goes down to the bottom side, looks right low, and the 13 machine now going to take it down to that low side. Bottom groove coming alive with Wetmore up top. Side by side they'll continue to be, and you see Gollin Gidman now going to be in 2nd 7th. He's gotten by Justin Tromley, as we mentioned before. Sam Nito going to be with Ethan Lane. Lane now looking for 4th on Jacob Fife. It's been a story of speed, just not consistency so far for Lane. He's definitely had the pace to go up there and fight for the race win, but there's been circumstances lap after lap that have prevented him from doing so, whether of his own doing or otherwise tonight. And right now, if anyone's going to get pie, Michael Laria, who has been the dominant man from flag to flag, would be Nick Tarbuck, I think. And right now, he's still there. He's been in second for the majority of this race. I think for as many laps as Michael Laria has led, Nick Tarbuck has been in second. That goes to show how dominant the both of them have been. And right now, for Nick Tarbuck coming down Thunder Alley, he's still within 1/4 of a second here. His consistency just about even to that of Michael Laria. They have run just about dead even laps almost every time around on this run. Their last lap times were separate by 6/100ths of a second, and sometimes Tarbuck gets that gap within 6,000ths here. The fluctuations are so minor between the both of them that really nothing's going to change if they stay the same for the rest of the night. Ethan Lane now going to try to find a groove there. Jacob Fife remains topside. Matthew Thunhorse there as well. Thunhorse looking to go for back-to-back podium finishes on 2 consecutive nights. Maybe an opportunity for him to hold on, but Jacob Fife now goes down low and sending it deep there on the number 80. There's an opportunity. He will, however, not be able to make it work. So Thunder's going to stay there inside of the top 3. Ethan Lane going to be held back just a bit now. And for Lane, I don't think there's enough time to necessarily go for the lead without an incident here. He might have to settle and place his bets on a podium if he's continued to be held up here by both Fife and Thunder's. Of course, he still seems to have some pace to chase the guys up ahead down, but it's not going to be easy, especially the way this race is coming in with its own in the final laps. 25 laps remaining. Nick Tarbuck up ahead here, still with Michael Laria, first and second, running lap after lap up in front. Now going to be 24 to go. You can see there, Laria going to be leading, Tarbuck in second, Thunder's in third, and the top 3 now separate by about 11/10ths. Further back, Lane is now going to be in 4th, and maybe his next move will be on that of the number 80. Thunder's keeps it honest, and Lane is in the wall once again. It's going to help out Jacob Fife, and once more, Lane, so aggressive, gets himself in the wall, and his troubles will persist. That time by, self-inflicted again. 23 laps to go this time by, and we're going to come around with 22 laps to go to crank it up with the best camber of riders on the iRacing market. Check out trackcams22.com after tonight's broadcast, and we will return after the following message. Once again, you're watching trackcams22.com's Crank It Up exclusively on FTN. yellow flag is going to fly for Jacob Fife and Ethan Lane. Caution's out again with 18 laps to go. We see it on board. Fife gets in trouble, and we are once again pacing. Caution is out. Let's take an instant replay and find out what caused it here. You see it happen live. Now we're going to figure out what led to it and maybe what brought that caution out overall. We're going to bring it back 30 seconds and figure out exactly what happened here. Just like that, it's going to be Fife looking low. Contact with Lane, comes right back up, collects Ethan Lane again, and we're going to be pacing with 17 laps to go. Jacob Fife in the number 36. How about that much? Involved with Lane, two front runners all night long, and that might have ended their chances to stay up in front as Crank It Up has concluded. Damage and trouble as they come through the exit of turn 2. Out them. Caution. It's going to fly, and everyone comes down pit road perhaps one last time for good here. It's going to be a 15-lap dash, give or take, when we go back green. This is it. Michael Laria and company come in once more, and pit road is active one final time. Larry going to come in there with Nick Tarbuck working their way through. Tom Wetmore in the mix as well. And just like that, Don Stevenson going to come through with Matthew Thunhorst. Top 5 right now going to be, of course, on pit road based on grid position. Wetmore gets the jump, moves up into the race lead, and the 51 takes advantage over Michael Laria, Cody Smith, Nick Tarbuck and company. Big move there as Tom Wetmore going to put himself up in front. 51 going to make the big move, take the race lead. It's going to be then from there, 5th Sam Nito, 6th Thunhorst, 7th Tromley, Braxton DeWeese is there in 8th. 16 laps to go, a huge move for Tom Wetmore as we're coming around with such a short sprint to end this race. Your final Next Level Racing promotional break will come in here and now. This time by, it's going to be, of course, Tom Wetmore leading, and if you want to support entire Next Level Racing family here and the Integrity Racing League, check out nextlevelracing.com after tonight's broadcast for high quality sim racing performance products for dedicated sim racers who deserve nothing but the best. We'll be right back after our final message of the day. You're watching the Rockingham 150. Stay tuned for the race finish. We'll be right back after this. Coming around this time by 1 lap to green. The signal for the green flag itself going to be given with 13 laps remaining. Tom Wetmore, your new race leader, and for the first time all night long, despite the damage, he's got the new set of Goodyear rubber, which everyone is on now, and he's going to rely on that to maybe be the difference of this entire race. Wetmore going to be there in first, Michael Laria going to be in second, Nick Tarbuck there in third, and Sam Nito in fourth. And to round out the top 5 there, Matthew Thunhorst. Larry has been dominant all night long, and no doubt he's going to look to defend his crown, one that just got taken away for the first time all throughout this event. At the same time, Wetmore knows he's at the fighting claw to get to this point. No reason for him to give it up now, especially with everything on the line, looking for his first win to back up the 5 he had last season. He was the winningest driver all of last year, tied with Seth Noel. Now he's looking to be the man who breaks out early and puts himself back in the W column. Green flag and a fly with 13 laps to go. Wetmore grabs the green, gets away by car length, and Laria outdone on the restarts. Gonna be a wiggle there from Nick Tarbuck, but all remains well as they come down Thunder Alley all over again. Matthew Thunder was gonna be side by side way behind, and now Wetmore gonna face the pressure, gets loose once, gets loose twice. Laria back to lead, and once again the 44, who's been dominant all night long, is up ahead. Tom Wetmore, he put it all on the line with this strategy call, and now finds himself there in third. He's gonna be side by side with Nick Tarbuck again. Number 4 gonna be bottom, 51 up top, and Wetmore's gonna have to keep this going for 12 more laps. Isn't a lot of time by any means, but now it's gonna be trouble with all these drivers set up to go till the very end with a much cleaner car to add to that. Fighting to get your spot, it's not gonna be easy. Maybe there's an opportunity, for the time being, of course, just to keep going. The number 2 of Wetmore, still third, Sam Nito. Right now, not going to be able to make the pass, but Matthew Thunderworth now looks forward, wiggles up once again, and gets loose again indeed. Now he'll save it, but fade back to 6, and maybe now going to be in jeopardy for keeping that spot. As it stands, it's going to be 7th spot he might fall into if Colin Gidman has his way. 10 to go this time by, and you can see Cody Griffin right there as well. Braxton DeWeese is going to be in 9th. There, down low, Trevor Trago going to be looking for the top 10 spot himself. Don Stevenson in the mix, and Cody Griffin. How about that slide? He stays all together, and just like that, he'll keep himself going. 9 laps to go this time by. Everyone is fighting for positions, but it looks like nobody getting away. It's a dense pack all throughout this time by. You can see it's going to be Sam Nito there in 3rd, Nick Tarbuck in 2nd, Michael Laria in 1st, and 8th to go this time through. Laria out in front, and he's looking comfortable again. Maybe Thunderworth, though, going to try to make a pass here on Tom Wetmore. Look on board with the number 80 as he's already eyeing a move with contact from Gidman, and now Garland going to fade back big. It's going to be 3 wide with Don Stevenson looking low. Stevenson now going to be 3 wide with Griffin and Garland. Gidman again. Trago gets loose. Griffin gets looser. They'll be side by side with Stevenson just barely making it out. And it looks like Trevor Trago fades back big. The battle persists with 7 remaining, and you can see there Cody Griffin looking to the bottom side, almost loses it himself. However, he'll keep it together again, and despite the slides and the slips back and forth, he is still fighting to get into 8th here, a spot he's been looking for 20 plus laps, and he is still there as drivers come across the line again to make it 6 laps remaining. Justin Trombley going to be there in 4th. And Sam Nito going to be in 3rd. Nick Tarbuck this time by is still the runner-up man. Michael Laria has the lead and is now in the home stretch to pull it all together. Wetmore now going to be side by side here with Matthew Thunderworth, and despite the fact that damage has definitely hurt him on this run, doesn't mean that he's made a bad call. And as a matter of fact, it's the best call I think he's made all night long, of course. He's up inside the top 5, still battling to stay there. However, either way, he's all but got a top 10 basically guaranteed. And with that being said, very few drivers can say the same here, as Wetmore's going to fade back to 6th. The top 10 he's still firmly within, and it's a great deal of opportunity to keep himself up there in the points race, better than settling for 11th or 12th as he would have previous. 4 laps to go this time by. Nick Tarbuck coming down Thunder Alley, doesn't have all too much for Michael Laria, and now it's going to be all about holding marks for 3 more miles as the 44 comes across the line. For tonight, of course, we didn't quite expect one driver to be oh so dominant. Given the qualifying results, it seemed like our strongest drivers were further on back, with the exception, of course, of these 2 who have been up in front all night long. Larry and Tarbuck alike are already shaping up to be championship fighters throughout this year, and once again, you see him coming across the stripe for 2 laps to go. Battles are beginning to simmer down. Cody Griffin side by side now with Nicholas Ward. Ward with a slight advantage all the way up top. See there, he gets the spot away, moving into 10th. Tarbuck now going to be half a second behind Laria, but with 1 lap to go, it looks like Michael Laria setting up nicely to take this checkered flag. Final lap. in the Rock, and it's the number 44 out in front again. He's taking it through turns 1 and 2 with no trouble here as he runs down Thunder Alley. Tarbuck behind, but not much else he can do. The rookie's been quick ever since Daytona. Podium finish last week and just barely denied victory at Atlanta. He'll be denied no more. Coming out of turn 4, Michael Laria will win at the Rock and collects a dominant victory in the Rockingham 150. No chance to deny this number 44 tonight. He'll lead over 120 laps of racing and collect the checkered flag. Nobody on his level. Laria collects the win. Michael Laria set to burn down the house here. You can see that 44 at the start-finish line. The celebration begins, and for the checkered flag, the number 44, he's collected it. And absolutely nobody on his level tonight. No doubt he was the man set to win, and he pulled it all together from flag to flag. From second on the grid, didn't even have the pole, but from the first lap, he had the jump, and he kept it there ever since that point. A Polish victory lap for the 44 of Michael Laria as he will win over Nick Tarbuck in second, Sam Needle in third, Justin Trombley in fourth, and Matthew Thunhorst then in fifth. Sixth is going to be Don Stevenson and Colin Gibbon is seventh, with Tom Wetmore eighth, Braxton DeWeese ninth, and Nicholas Ward then in 10th. 11th spot on the order, then going to be Cody Griffin with Brian McFerrin 12th, Neil Froelich 13th, and Alan Rowell 14th. Going to be 8 seconds behind Stephen Wetton with Trevor Trago 16th and Jay Aishman in 17th spot. Cody Smith is going to be 18th with Sean Kalis 19th and Randy Fiash rounding out the top 20. It'll be Brian Perry then from there in 21st, Eric McFarland 22nd, and Brad Patton 23rd, Ethan Lane in position number 24, and Jim Fife in 25th. Matt Jonas is 26th, and Jacob Fife is 27th, with John Steele 28th, John Cars 29th, and Kyle Cooper then in 20th. 27 drivers on lead lap going back to Jacob Fife. And from there, Ryan Farrell 31st, Chuck Sweeting 32nd, and Jared Callan 33rd. And last on the order tonight, Michael Laria was dominant. No doubt he had it there from the very beginning, and it seems like there was nobody else who could keep up with this man, no matter where we were on the circuit, no matter the point in the race. It was the 44 all night long. So how about we get a word from the driver who put it all together, and we'll get to victory lane. It wasn't an easy night by any means, but he had control, and as such, it's Michael Laria getting it done. Looking to see if he's available for comment. Right now, he does not appear to be, and we'll get him in momentarily and figure out what we can do. Laria going to be the driver to look for. He is the man who gets it done, hoping to get an opportunity to speak to our driver who pulls through with the win, and we're going to get him in here right now. Waiting room, we're going to get him in, and hopefully Michael Laria, your race winner, will be available for comment. The number 44 collects the checkered flag. From the very beginning, he was dominant, and nobody could keep up. How about that performance? Laria first, Nick Tarbuck second, and third to round out the podium one more time, it is Sam Needle. So, familiar faces, Laria, he's seen the podium before, just hasn't quite seen victory lane, and of course, a quick streak to snap, the rookie on top tonight. Now, unfortunately, it looks like right now Michael not going to be available for comments, so we will look from third on up. So let's start with our driver who finished third today, and Sam Needle, and pull him in this time by Sam. Podium on the day, and with all being said and done, your driver who definitely had to work for it all throughout the ninth, from ninth up to third, you make it up to the podium here in Rockingham and find yourself on the top three. How did it feel, of course, collecting a podium finish at the Rock?
You got me? Can you hear me?
We got you.
Yeah, it feels okay. I was probably a P7 car on speed. I wasn't that good here. I was trying to save some stuff for a long run, but we never got them. And excuse me. So yeah, I mean, just did what I could. Wasn't trying to do too much. I'm this combo is not very good for me. So probably not good for a whole lot of people. It's tough.
Know how tricky this track is with the Gen 4s, of course, the bumps in the circuit, of course, very warm track temperature as well, so it was by no means an easy night. What was it like, of course, adapting to those conditions? The strategy was definitely affected by them.
The track got cooler and cooler and cooler as the day went on, and it got a little easier to drive. But I would have preferred it to stay really hot. So more you slide around, more you wear your tires. And like I said, I was just trying to keep the car underneath me and not do any sliding. Excuse me, not spin any rear tires, not slide the fronts. And yeah, it got cooler and got the times picked up, and I think people got closer and closer. It definitely helped some people like me kind of equal out somewhat on speed to Michael and Nick. Obviously, I still couldn't catch them, but earlier in the race they were a couple tenths faster, and with the lower track condition, it kind of helped me out a little bit, I guess.
Able to just slightly keep up there at the very end, pulling through for a podium and keeping some good runs going to kick off the season. Now, next up on the schedule from this point, we're going to go to a much shorter track and one of the shortest on the schedule. It's going to be Bristol for 2. Chaotic event last year when we went there to finish off the regular season. This time it's going to be very early in the schedule. Instead, how's it going to be like heading back to Bristol knowing it with the Gen 4s, it might be even more chaotic.
Just depends on the car count and the setup. I ran a fixed or a different league in the A car last night, and it was the worst setup I've ever driven. So I mean, it's hard to say how it'll be. It's just dependent on, like I said, car count and how bad the setup is.
That being said, tonight, of course, everything works out for a top 3 finish. And Sam, if there's anyone else you'd like to shout out for this podium result, make sure to let us know right now.
Yeah, congratulations to my teammate Michael. He's been deserving of winning 1 or 2 or maybe 3. I don't know. At least 1 before tonight. So I'd see him break through there. You guys put on a good broadcast. Thank the admin team for putting on the league here, letting us race, and that's it.
There we have it. Podium finish for the number 2 Miller Light Machine tonight, rounding out the top 3 into Rockingham 150. Thank you for your time, Sam.
Thanks.
Just like that, it looks like we do have our winner in Michael Laria available for comment. But first up, we'll get your second place driver as we keep going in reverse podium order. So we're going to bring Nick Tarbuck to us right about now. That's the number 4, finishing in second. And for as many laps as Michael Laria led, you were right there behind him. Ran a very consistent race and came through with the podium. How are you feeling second on the day?
I'm tired. I'm sweaty. My arms hurt. My hands hurt. And I'm getting tired of the way the back of Michael Laria's car looks. But all in all, it was actually a pretty good race. Really was really difficult. And Laria was really hard to keep, even in my windshield. But it was pretty fun at the end of the day, man, figuring it all out and keeping it good enough for a second place. It was a pretty fun night.
And it looks like everything worked out quite nicely for this team, of course, starting on the pole position. And both you and Michael were up there first and second practically the entire race. Really, nothing really changed in that regard. You think there's anything in particular that kept you up there right behind our leader?
Yeah, I mean, I think I came into tonight lacking in a little bit of just like long run practice. So really following Michael and him taking me to school basically for 150 laps helps me know how to treat my tires well and what line to run, and just really being patient with the throttle. I think I saw a lot of guys that were trying to catch us slide in the rears and burn up the rear tires, and I never even tried the top, but I'm sure that was going to be interesting if that ever played out. But yeah, I think just being real careful with the tires as usual, and luckily I was able to follow somebody who was really fast and I never lost sight of him, so I was able to kind of keep in pace with him and treat my car about as well as he treated his.
Tell you this much, just about even there with the 44 all night long on that pace, and it keeps you there for a second place run. Now, Bristol is a track you saw last season of the Octane Series, but it's going to look much different with these Gen 4s and a much different position on the schedule. We're now 2 weeks away from our first break on the schedule, and you've built up a lot of momentum for your championship case already. How do you think Bristol's going to play out given these circumstances?
I really like Bristol. I mean, I like any concrete racetrack, but I think it's going to be interesting because in Bristol, I haven't run them in the Gen 4 car, but I think it's going to be a lot more of a two-lane type track. I'll probably be a bottom feeder like usual, but it's going to be interesting. It's probably going to be really fast and really grippy, so it's going to be like a bull ring type race. It'll be pretty crazy to watch, especially if you have a good turnout. But I'm hoping for a good finish there. I mean, I'd like to carry some momentum into the break, like you said, and just keep the points, I guess, lead or the points placement that I'm at right now. I'm not sure if it's a lead or not, but just keep that going into and carry some momentum forward because, yeah, man, you never know when things could turn for the worse and just your luck gets out of hand.
Of course, a game that comes down to a lot of chance in Bristol tonight in Rockingham. Looks like nobody could keep pace with this number 4. Of course, front row keeping it very consistent all night long. Nick, if there's anyone else you'd like to shout out after tonight's event, make sure to let us know.
Yeah, man. Well, I want to thank you guys for broadcasting as always. I want to thank the admins for putting on a good race. Thanks to everybody for showing up. It was a really good turnout tonight. Thanks to all the boys back at home who watched. Thanks to my mom and dad who watched. Shout out to my mom. It was her birthday yesterday. I wanted to win yesterday to get a happy birthday out to her yesterday, but today I'll have to do. So happy birthday, Mom. And I guess we'll see you all next week.
And of course, hoping to see this number 4 team next week as well. Nick Tarbuck, runner-up on the day. Thank you for your time.
Yeah, man. Have a good one.
And moving the 4 out of our broadcast booth here, only one more driver to speak to, and of course, that is your race winner for tonight's event. Michael Laria was dominant throughout this race from the very first lap. You had the opportunity to get that lead and begin to pull away. Checkered flag is yours, your first in your Integrity Racing League career, and I don't think there's any other better way to do so than how you did it tonight. What a win it was.
Oh, man, just feel a ton of relief finally getting this win. I felt like the past couple weeks I had the speed to make it happen, and just circumstances during the races kind of cost me ultimately getting the top spot. But tonight had the speed, had the track position, and didn't choke when it mattered. So really happy to just complete this one and bring it home with a win.
Pulling through with the checkered flag, and you had the pace from the very beginning. However, when you got to the lead, it looks like nobody could get by you, even in the very short blip where you weren't the leader, either pit road or otherwise. Do you think it was the clean air that really played into the factor of keeping the lead, or was there something else that really gave you that big advantage tonight?
I certainly think clean air helped. I know once you're back in the pack, it's just a lot more difficult, especially with how narrow this track can get, especially coming off of turn 2, which is just really chaotic. And so I feel like it was just a combination of having that clean air, being able to run my own line, and just kind of really getting into a rhythm and just setting my own pace. I think that's super important at this track. It has a ton of character, especially in 3 and 4, and it's really all about throttle discipline coming off the corners. But you also really need to know about backing up your entry to the turns. I kind of take a Kevin Harvick mindset at this place. You really want to just back up your entry, get right on the yellow line, and just really watch what you're doing with your throttle inputs. And being up towards the front certainly helps with that. So my philosophy was just stay up front, manage my pace, and if I had to push my pace a little bit to stay near the front, I would. But luckily, I was just able to manage it and do my own thing, and it paid off.
It looks like your own pace absolutely was the way to go tonight, and you led at least 3/4 of this race, if not even more than that. Got a very exciting race coming up in regards to the last great coliseum, Bristol, which we've seen previously on this schedule, but never before with the Gen 4s. So far, this number 44 machine has really come your way when it comes to the speed and consistency. Of course, Bristol is quite the wild card. How do you feel going in? Is there any experience you might have to lean on to perhaps keep the good runs going?
I've run quite a few races at Bristol in the past. But it's been with the Gen 6 or the Next-Gen Cup car. So I haven't run a race in the Gen 4 there in a long time, or really the ARCA car for that matter. So I feel like I got to put in a little bit of practice to just kind of get acclimated with the behavior of what this car is going to do. But I think it's going to be an interesting race for sure. I think some of the similar philosophies that you have with Rockingham will apply at Bristol. Again, I think it's going to be about, qualifying well, staying near the front, and I feel like running the bottom is probably going to be the way to go there just to kind of manage your tires, but certainly the top is going to be really fast. So we'll have to see. It's really going to be dependent on the setup that they give us there, but I definitely like that track, and I'm looking forward to it for sure.
Potential to keep the good times going for this early run. The top rookie on the board tonight, of course, getting the win, Michael Laria. Checkered flag is yours. If there's anyone else you'd like to shout out, make sure to let us know.
Yeah, I got to give a shout out to Sim Speed Shop for being on board the car tonight, as well as the rest of the season. Got to give a shout out to my teammate Sam Nieto, just kind of helping with strategy and just kind of keeping my nerves a little bit calm there throughout the race, and just kind of thinking of all the scenarios, how they might play out. So he's definitely certainly an asset. And of course, I got to thank you, David, for putting on the broadcast.
There we have it. Another very solid performance here. The checkered flag this time, yours in Thunder Alley. Michael Laria, thank you for your time.
All right. Thank you.
Michael, on the way, we spoke to your top three tonight, and this time we did it in reverse order. Your winner, Michael Laria, your second place driver, Nick Tarbuck, and Sam Nieto, rounding out the top three here in the virtual Rockingham Speedway. What a race it was here. We saw our fair share of chaos, saw some flips, up and down wrecks, and overall, a great race to cap off a night of action here in North Carolina. Next up on the schedule, as we mentioned, it's going to be Bristol Motor Speedway, so stay tuned for the last great Coliseum. We'd love to have you continue watching exclusively live on FTN. I've been David Kreutz, your commentator and producer for tonight's event. If you enjoyed this coverage, make sure to leave a like on the stream and subscribe to the channel. Your support is always greatly appreciated. You've been watching the Integrity Octane Series at the virtual Rockingham Speedway for the Rockingham 150 and the Integrity Racing League live every Monday and Tuesday night on the channel. Make sure to check out, of course, on FTN only whenever the Integrity Racing League is at the track. Mondays and Tuesdays. We'll be back next Thursday for a doubleheader with the Iora Cup Series and the Highline Racing League. So check them out as well as we saying goodnight from the virtual rock. Thank you all for your immense support. We hope to see you live whenever we're live again on FTN, and hope you have a fantastic night.